How's it going? This man tomorrow here. I want to thank you guys for coming through. Um, Anybody who believes in Mode One, get the fuck off my channel. Get the fuck off my channel. Don't ever bring your ass back to my channel for any reason. If you're willing to believe this shit without any fucking proof, then the Man of Tomorrow channel is not for you. Take your ass over there, go lie on your dick about how much success you're getting with Mode One without proof. Take your ass over there with that shit. You let this motherfucker claim that he have all this shit from Mode One from like 1492 until like the end of the Civil War and all this shit, but we ain't got no videotape proof. No proof, huh? You see, this is what happens in society when you ask for proof. Everything in the world but turning on your camera and proving your point. I'm willing to believe that all the rest of the stuff is how normal relationships form. But the actual name of the book is the most implausible thing because it requires for a person to be sexually explicit to a stranger that they've never met. After Me Too, there's no moderation of concept. And this is why he gets super mad. Hold on a second. Thanks for the $5 cash app, Lil Rock. So you guys have to understand that. This guy's been getting away with this shit for a while. Why? Because you dudes are gullible as shit. Yes, it takes a level of gullibility to believe this shit. It does. I'm sorry. It does take a degree of gullibility. And because since most of you dudes want to impress women, I'm going to tell you exactly how Mode 1 works. Just Mode 1. Mode 1 Extreme, Hardcore, all that shit. It's all dumb. There's no way that stuff could be true past Me Too. Because there's no proof of it. No videotape proof. Remember, this guy say he's been doing it for 20 years. Well, he's been doing this stuff. I agree with him. It is probably plausible back in the 80s and 90s that he probably could get away with doing the stuff he does now. But at the end of the day, you still have to provide proof of concept. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to King Sigma's show from earlier. And it's highly ironic that King... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Yes. And you have to understand that. Hold on a second. That's Bluetooth on acting up. Okay. So I will show you this. And I'll show you just the type of dude who gets trapped up into this Mode 1 stuff. Bravo Alpha Novembers believe in Mode 1. It's a religion. It's a religion. The fact that you think you can walk up to a stranger and you don't know anything about her and just do all this type of stuff without any proof. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to King Sigma's show, ironically called The Conspiracy to Destroy the Manosphere, with this fucking book author who don't give a fuck about nobody in the Manosphere on the interview. The Manosphere has been destroyed by bitch ass niggas like ARC. Because the Manosphere was supposed to be a space for men to get their shit together. The Manosphere was not supposed to be a space for book authors to introduce you back into the problems that you're supposed to be escaping. That wasn't the point of the Manosphere. It wasn't. It was not. It wasn't. I'm sorry. It was not the point of the Manosphere. This guy has a product to sell, folks. The product to sell requires you to go mess with a certain group of uncultured women with the level of bad information that they've never seen proven. And it's supposed to be correct because you've never seen it work. So I'm going to show you the tactics that these people use when they can't prove their point.
I feel you. Let me get this super chat. Big Poke Dog, salute for the 10. Appreciate you, bro. We got MOT. He says the best place to hide the promotion of feminism is behind the dudes who think they have this thing figured out. So let me bring that one up. That's a good point. And I got MOT in the background, so I'm going to bring him up in like 5 minutes, but I kind of just wanted to get this intro in with Alan real quick. But Alan, he talks about the fact that a lot of these guys, because you were talking about in yours that they still get played by women who are savvy manipulators. And I thought that was critical because I kept thinking back to that case with Derek Williams again. So I'm going to bring the situation up with Derek Williams, the former top 5 basketball pick.
By a savvy manipulator called Alan Roger Currie. While he's running game on y'all. Alan Roger Currie is running game on unsuspecting dudes who want to get their verification of actual. Hold on a second. Verification of their masculinity through access to women. Not good women, not cultured women, but uncultured women who can be talked out of their box within 5 seconds. And he's running game on everybody else in the Manosphere by doing this shit. That's right. This is why there's all this talk about Mode 1, but there's really no actual videotape proof of Mode 1. Because this requires a level of gullibility in the men to actually believe this stuff without proof. And it's easy to build a cult of personality around bitch ass niggas who don't give a fuck about proof, who just want to make it look like they're getting more than the next person within society. This is why when people vehemently defend the concept and they haven't seen any proof of concept, this is what you run into. So I'm going to keep playing this. So that way you can see what bitch ass niggas sound like.
Who he got himself caught up in something in New York when he was playing for the Knicks. And let me bring that article up. You guys will like this one. Because I've always been a person that I believe that every man should be his own critical thinker and that we shouldn't look to guys like Alan Roger Currie as cult figures, but as guides that they present information, then you go and counter that information, get counter information, and then you come up with your own opinion to verify, confirm, or even create your own ideology or your own idea that you got. So I'm just a true believer in that. And I know a lot of people in this space, they're more looking for a cyber figure to follow, and I think that's very dangerous overall. So here's a story from the New York Post that relates to what Alan's talking about how these females can be very manipulated and cunning, and they're not just these lilting, lilies that the men would lead you to believe. All you gotta do is follow Cardi B's career and women like her. These women got more game than the dudes out here in a lot of situations. So don't sleep on that. So here's a situation with Derek Williams. Women robbed Knicks player of $750,000 in jewelry after night of partying. This was in December.
Now, this is probably a guy who thought he had everything under control by a person who was way more savvier than he was. Dude, how many times do we have to see this things again after again and again? But you have to suspend disbelief in order to believe in this concept. You have to suspend disbelief to believe in the concept of how things work in society. Even after Me Too, he never moderated how his stuff actually worked. Like after Me Too, you're going to just walk up to any person that you don't know and try to pull this stuff off. All right, man.
2015. So here's Derek.
All right, so let me go to when I'm on the panel, which is a little while later. Because we got to stop giving grifters a goddamn platform. This guy has a product to sell. He doesn't give a damn about black men, period. The only men who are caught up in this stuff is people who got their masculinity primarily given to them by the woman's opinion within society. That's the problem. You should require proof of concept. If a person who you require proof from does everything else but provide proof, then the concept is fake. Like if you're a real estate person and you claim that you can give me a certain amount of money for a specific property of mine, which I am trying to sell, by the way, I'm going to want to see a track record of you being able to sell other properties the same way. I mean, you got the Coldwell bankers, all these industrial places who I don't think do a very good job of selling your actual product the way it should be sold, but they end up selling it anyway. But they get you far less than you actually would if you would actually interface with the actual person itself. They might get it sold, but they don't get it sold the right way. And this is what Mode 1 is. It's an attempt. All right, I'll play his actual stuff. And what you have to realize is why con men don't like being questioned about anything.
Party at Williams Bachelor Pad, everyone went home. But not before the two girls found a Louis Vuitton case stuffed with $750,000 worth of jewelry in one of Williams' closets. So I'll leave it there. But that's an example that kind of supports what you're saying, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, here's what guys don't realize, but should simply realize. There's really only 3 types of guys that women who are predator types target to exploit and manipulate.
Here's the thing, man. If you're still trusting these women to treat your ass I know it's a genetic argument, but still, the genetic argument still hasn't been proven. It still hasn't been proven. Remember, he came up with the concept, which means he should prove his concept to somebody. Yes, you have to prove your point. Think about it. If I played the game Hitman and I designed the stage, you know what they make you do? They make you complete the stage before you can put it onto the platform to prove you can do it. You just can't come out with something that you haven't done. How do you switch the level of viability from the person who created the concept to the people who are practicing the concept? This is why there's no proof of it. And this is why you have to suspend all disbelief, rationality, and common sense just to play along with this.
Number 1, of course, is guys who are in possession of a high degree of wealth and expensive material possessions. That would be number 1. Number 2 would be guys are in a position to either offer them ideal employment, or if they're already employed, offer them some type of promotion. And third, on the most basic and minimal level, would be guys that just have a very flattering and entertaining personality. And they just take advantage, exploit you for your, what I call...
Here's the thing. Women exploit all men, period. It isn't just men in specific circumstances. They exploit all men, period. That's how they get by, right? But it's up to you to put enough value in yourself to not actually lower yourself into their degree, just so that way you can be able to get sex out of them because you're lowering yourself into their mouths, right? So a lot of this stuff is gullibility on the man's part. I can tell you, that dude who lost $750,000 in jury, why the hell are you buying $750,000 in jury in the first place? Why do you have loose hoes running through your house in the first place? Like a lot of this stuff that leads up to the actual act of a man getting ripped off are things that people cannot make sense out of at all. But when the act happens, we try to make it look like it's specific men. No, 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 no. Most people do this stuff on some level and set themselves up to be used on some level. Because, see, that's what the culture creates. The culture creates a man to make it look like he's more of a sucker and he has a better deal than other men are offering, which means this person should mess with him for XYZ reason. This is how this stuff works. And we know what type of people we have in society on high degree and value. We know most of these people you shouldn't even be messing with at all. So going into a situation where you have everything that they want and the only thing that you want is sex, it's pretty dumb to play this type of game. But let's continue.
Your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship. And so, it basically, you will find if you don't have one of those three things to offer, most women will leave you the fuck alone. You won't run into any.
Here we go. We get in contact with our inner bitch. Not to figure out what men want, but try to figure out what women want. The value has never been put in no man on any shape, form, or fashion. All the value is put on the women getting the most out of you. And I'm going to tell you exactly how mode 1 works. Now, the rest of the modes, it don't matter. I want to go after what the book is based on. Not some of the truth that are in some of the other modes, which I don't believe in. Because even for social psychology, you still have to take yourself into a double-blind test study environment to have this stuff tested out. You can't come out with a self-published book and then claim that you got the dating market figured out. That's not how that works. You just can't come up with your own standard, not prove your own standard, and then based on the gullibility of mankind to promote your own standard. That's not how that works. But that's how mode 1 works. So let's continue.
Women that I call in my books manipulative time wasters. You'll just run into rejectors. If women don't think you have anything to offer them in the way of money and material gifts and possessions, you don't have anything to offer them of value in the way of employment or career promotions.
Now, you think this dude is not an agent of feminism? Really? This dude is telling you exactly the woman's point of view. He's not giving you any prospects on how to get past this thought process, by the way. He's not turning around and giving you access to a different group of women who does this, by the way, because not all women act like this. Cultured women don't act like this either. But mode 1 is used for a very specific demographic of women by promising them everything that a woman wants on a platter. That's what it does.
And at bare minimum, you don't have anything to offer them in the way of flattering and entertaining and emotionally empathetic conversation. And I talk about all this in my books, The Possibility of Sex and No Free Attention. If you don't have any of those things, 99% of women, they're going to leave.
No free attention by doing what? Giving her attention up front by moving the burden of proof from her to choose that she have value to give to you, for you to be out here turkey dancing and proving that you're giving all the value to her. Meanwhile, you actually think that you got this stuff figured out and under control. The only thing you're doing is approaching a whole bunch of people, handing them your whole value on a plate. You see, you can't have real conversations about mode 1 or about the dynamic between men and women, because this guy right here wants you to feed yourself to women, not her to provide you anything. He has not and will not say anything about what a woman is to bring to the table, because that doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is you provide her value, not her provide you value. Let's go for it.
Leave you the fuck alone. If they're manipulative, they're going to leave you the fuck alone because their attitude is, you ain't got shit I want. You ain't got nothing that I need to manipulate. See, that's one of the things I said when I was younger. If I had one weakness, like somebody asked in the chat room I saw today, somebody was talking about the weaknesses of men, things they might be lacking in, and somebody.
You see? None of this stuff about what you want or what you need. Everything is about what she wants and what she needs and what she gets out of you. And people keep saying, oh, he's not a game dude. Get the fuck off my channel if you think that shit too. I'm not even going to bother explaining this shit to you. This channel ain't for you. Go somewhere else.
Simply as, Alan, what do you think one of the weaknesses you've had over the course of your life? Definitely in my 20s and 30s, I was broke most of the time. So that is...
Okay, so now we got broke nigga game, where I'm broke, sex is everything to me. And this is why most of these broke motherfuckers are in the Manosphere. They want to learn how to get as much sex as possible while broke. Like most of these dudes have deleted the actual financial component out of the actual relationship and trying to get by on this genetic pre-qualifier nonsense. You know why women like broke men? Women like broke men because broke men are not a threat to them. But that's a two-way street. What if you don't want to mess with them? Why do we even care about what women think? Like, that's the problem. Like, no one even cares about what men think. And we have a guy here in the Manosphere trying to tell you what women think so that way you can take your ass back to the plantation with all this newfangled information so that way your ass can be taken advantage of. Because that's what you've been raised to think, that you are a mark. You're just going to give value to other people. They don't have to bring anything to the table. And you're not worth anything. The only thing you can give them is all of your stuff and sex. You get nothing in return.
Eliminated women who had materialistic tendencies because I was broke. So I had too much knowledge, wisdom to allow women to play me. But even if I had, didn't have that, no woman would have been attracted to try to play me because I didn't have anything in the way of money or material possessions for women to try to play me for.
Here's the thing, man. This is what I'm saying. Making yourself a broke-ass motherfucker and keeping yourself around women who don't appreciate men, it's a fool's errand. This ain't no proud shit to be proud of. I don't give a fuck how much pussy you had access to. All right? Your job as a man is to produce. And if your ass didn't produce and you got more sex and you didn't produce, then those group of women are shit. Not that I want more sex out of them women. I don't give a fuck about that.
Out of those three things I already mentioned, the number one thing that women would try to play me sometimes for, mainly when I was in college, was simply the third thing, the minimal thing, which was flattering and entertaining conversation.
Which you gave to them on a platter with all these books that you wrote. The exception is the beta male revolution, which means you're smart enough to know what the fuck is going on, but you're dumb enough to still play this fucking game. And you've shown no proof of concept. The only thing you require is moving the burden of proof from the actual gullible people who listen. That's who you moved it to. You haven't even proved none of this shit. You haven't proved none of it. None of it. And then the conversations become, if you question such validity in things, something is wrong with you for not suspending disbelief in such things. No. Get out there and prove your point. I guarantee you, I go to an open forum. There's no way you can't sound like a bitch ass nigga and defend this. There's just no way you can't sound like one.
A lot of guys, a lot of women would try to give me an impression that at some point in the future, they was gonna let me, tap that ass.
Okay, bitch nigga fan fiction. All right, man. None of this shit's true. None of these stories are verifiable. Everything's about what the women get, what the women get, what the women get. It's not about what men get. Do you know how much power you give up by just giving up sex easily to women? How much damage to your actual future you can do to yourself by just giving up sex in an actual environment where she has legal protection and you don't have any?
The possibility of sex, when really they just wanted me to be flattering and entertaining. And it wasn't until I started using.
Now, let's look at the name of the conversation: the conspiracy to destroy the Manosphere by any means. Look who's talking. Look at what he's talking about. He's talking about not really giving any value to yourself. He's talking about giving away all your potential value to women. And these women are nameless. They're faceless. You don't know what they look like. You don't know what they offer. But you are just to be waiting to be a hard penis for these women. And somehow that is something that you should be proud of. This is why this stuff only works in broken cultures. You don't go up to cultured men propositioning them in this type of level and way. That's why I'm interested in conservative women. I'm not interested in these other things that are here within this environment.
My Mode 1 approach, where I start quickly identifying and weeding those type of women out. And that's actually...
You quickly identify and weed those women out by handing them everything that they potentially want on a platter. Remember, Mode 1 is so that way you don't waste time. So you don't waste time by quickly wasting your time offering everything on a platter to women to give for them to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So when you say this helps you not waste time, no. You're wasting a hell of a lot more time offering what you got to offer on a platter to multiple women, waiting on them to say yes or no. You see how that works? He says he's not wasting time by wasting time. Because there is no one-to-one comparison with Mode 1. This is what you see when you start to see videotape evidence of things. You can see the efficacy of the strategy. You could be able to drop this individual into the middle of any city and have them on tape going up to people in a public place, so that way it can be publicly, seen. The problem is, I don't give a fuck if you wasted your whole life with this concept, but you're going to have to prove this goddamn concept before you get the fuck off the planet. I suggest you get started. It only works on men who think that access to women is like the preeminent reason that they should be here. Let's continue.
Well, I start being Mode 1. See, again, I say this almost ad nauseum at this point, but a lot of guys have the misinterpretation that they think my original motivation for Mode 1 was to try to increase the women I was getting laid with. I was already getting laid.
Hold on. Hold on a second. Let's go back to that again.
Because their attitude is, you ain't got shit I want. You ain't got nothing that I need to manipulate. See, that's what... Frank and straightforward about the fact that you're trying to fuck. You'll be able to...
Hold on a second.
When I was younger, if I had one weakness in weeding those type of women out, and that's actually...
Okay, so you say that you're weeding those type of women out, which means you're actually trying to increase your level of intake of sex. That's why you need to actually come through and weed them out. Okay, so how is it you would come up with a system called Mode 1 and you wouldn't use Mode 1? Because remember, you're putting all your intentions on the table, right? You're walking up to a woman being sexually explicit. This is your standard. And you're doing all of that not to increase the amount of sex you get out of a woman. Is anybody else listening to this? You come up with a standard so that way you don't get more sex, even though you're asking and breaking down your actual level of sexual response from her from jump, but you ain't doing that to get more sex out of women? Who believes this?
See, why I start being Mode 1. See, again, I say this almost ad nauseum at this point, but a lot of guys have the misinterpretation that they think my original motivation for Mode 1 was to try to increase the women I was getting laid with. I was already getting pussy, even before I became Mode 1. So sexual frustration wasn't my problem.
Okay. Okay. All right.
My problem was manipulative time wasters. And I start being...
Dude, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. You're mad at manipulative time wasters, but you come up with a concept that is based on approaching the potentially manipulative time wasters by offering them everything that they want on a platter sexually to give them a chance of a thumbs up or a thumbs down conversation with you. But you're not doing this for women. Let's move forward.
Mode 1 as a way of identifying them and weeding them out. And the basic way to do that is to be upfront and straightforward about the fact that you're trying to fuck.
Boom. Did he not just say a second ago that he didn't come up with Mode 1 to get sex? Dude, you got to listen to these dudes, man.
You'll be able to weed them out, like literally in most cases.
Remember, he just said that he didn't come up with Mode 1 to get more sex. Watch him explain what Mode 1 is. Right after he just said, Mode 1 is not about getting more sex. Watch him explain it.
10 minutes or less.
Oh, you're right about that, because, I'm newly single and back in the market. And I've kind of, I'm going on a little trip in 2 weeks to the West Coast. And so I've been doing this Tinder thing, and I've never been a big fan of Mode 1 for the average guy. And you and I have talked about that before. And I describe more of what I do as more Mode 2 to Mode 1 light. And I think that Mode 1 is really for a regular dude. That's for a situation where you're like in a bar or you're in a place where you're not going to see this woman. And you and I have had a discussion, we just disagree. But to test your theory, a couple of the women that matched with me over the last week, I just kind of was using Mode 2, Mode 1 light, and Mode 1. And one of the women that I really wanted to bang, man, I used Mode...
Because the woman that he really wanted to bang had nothing to do with sex, right? So why would he use Mode 1? Again, he said he didn't come up with Mode 1 to increase his level of sexual intake. But that's exactly what Mode 1 is being used for. So it's like, on one hand, he understands what it's being used for, but on the other hand, he say it's not for sexual purposes.
Mode 1, and she unmatched because of that shit. But all the women that I use Mode 1 light or Mode 2, they stayed. But I wanted to bang, right?
Well, interject real quick. You know, I have a term for what I think you're describing as Mode 1 light. That's what I call.
Okay, so remember, Mode 1 is not about getting sex. But what are we talking about this actual strategy to do? It is to get sex itself.
Mode 1.5.
So you call it Mode 1.5? Okay.
I have 3 variations of Mode 1. I have the most explicit version and risque version is.
Hold on a second.
It's Mode 1 hardcore. Then I have what I call just standard.
Mode 1 hardcore. Have anybody seen any proof of that? Just words, right? Okay.
Conventional Mode 1. And then my most
conventional Mode 1, no one seen proof of that. But 2, 3, and all that kind of other stuff, people seen tons of proof of. But the actual name of the book, you can't get proof of.
And conservative version where you use no profanity, no sexually explicit language is what I call Mode 1.5.
Now,
Mode 1.5. Plausible. More plausible than the other things. But still, Mode 1 is the name of the book. Not everything else that could be true. And the most implausible version of what you're talking about is actually called Mode 1. With no proof.
I did that on purpose, though. So remember, I was doing this on purpose because I just, all of the women look good that I matched with, but it was one that I just wanted to see what would happen if I was just 100% aggressive with one of the girls that I matched with. And for her, that was a little bit too much, 100 miles per hour coming at her. You know what I'm saying? Because I was in the mood at that moment, and I just wanted to see. So for me, in that situation, I felt that it was best for me to calibrate and stay in Mode 2 and then push the throttle and go to Mode 1.5. Because again, for me, I've only experienced Mode 1 working for me, but I'm an average guy, average looking guy, above average fitness. I'm more of a person, I would say that my biggest strength is my listening skills and my thoughtfulness and my verbal ability. But I think that Mode 1 is something that is really good for guys that are in that top 1 to 5% because you're going to have a higher percentage of success using that mode. But with that, I just want to bring up MOT, and then you can respond to him. But I wanted to go back to that SESTA Act, to something that related to what we were talking about, for those that were wondering. So in the SESTA Act, in one of its clauses, it says that it made it illegal to advertise sex trafficking, knowingly benefit financially from participation in a venture that advertises sex trafficking, and to engage in activities related to sex trafficking besides advertising, knowingly or in reckless disregard of the fact that sex trafficking is involved. So I just hope if you're listening, let that sear into your mind, because you know how the government works when they make these vague statements like that. And their goal is to catch anyone promoting prostitution and sex trafficking online using social media. You got the mic, MOT. You got it, MOT.
Okay. Keep in mind what the name of the topic is. The conspiracy to destroy the Manosphere by any means. I think we've destroyed the Manosphere by letting too many people claim power from this word game and access to women without any type of proof. So you're going to see what happens when you challenge somebody on their points, and you see exactly what it turns into.
There's another function I'm muted. Am I unmuted? You say I'm unmuted now.
You're kind of low. Your volume's kind of low, MOT.
Hold on a second. I'm on a new computer. How's it going, Ms. Curry?
What's up, brother MOT?
All right. So what we're not going to do what we usually do. We're going to have an intellectual discussion about the actual benefits and the drawbacks from it. Because I think that your mode one approach in this specific situation with this particular individual is the absolute reason why it has to be situational and not overall. Can we agree on that?
When you say this, who are you referring to?
The fresh and fit guy.
Okay, well, if you don't mind, MOT, before you get started, that's what I was going to say right before King Sigmund turned the mic over to you. Because I've had at least 3 or 4 guys in the last, 36, 48 hours ask me questions like, hey, Alan, what did you think about Myron Gaines' failed attempts to be Mo 1 with this woman named Anna Quinn? And, again, 2 or 3 other guys asked me a similar question. And my response to them was like, he wasn't Mo 1. See, here's where a lot of guys make the mistake. And I've talked about this on a number of my...
Okay, so here's the thing. When you use mode 1 tactics and you do not succeed, it is not considered mode 1. But if mode 1 to succeed using the same tactics, then it would be a good thing for mode 1. You see, mode 1 is like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. Alcoholics Anonymous don't acknowledge any of the failures of the actual process itself. It only counts the actual success rate, the success margins of using their program. And that's kind of the sliding the burden of proof from the people who complete the program to the actual people who's actually been helped by the actual system itself. So let's move forward.
Videos. A lot of guys think that anybody who's direct is automatically Mo 1. That's like, I use the analogy, that's like assuming that every double...
Now, what he's doing is he's talking through his explanation because Myron Gaines, or that's what his name is, if that's his name at all, the fit guy, he did use mode 1 tactics by trying to get down to the nitty-gritty of whether or not this person is sexually interested in him or not. That was his admission before we started this. Now mode 1 is turned into this actual idea because it failed in this attempt. This is why we're talking about it, because it failed. We're talking about it because the actual validity of the concept cannot be proven once it failed. This is why I want to see it on tape. So that way, when it fails over and over and over and over again, I want to see the explanation of why it failed. Because anybody can suspend disbelief and say that I get everything that I want out of every single woman that I approach. Any person can say that. Any person can say that. But not every person can get on camera and show proof of concept. Now again, the only reason why we're talking about it is because it failed. And it was a direct attempt at getting sex out of a woman. That is what's irrefutable. But we're going to listen to this individual try to word explain himself out of that.
Cheeseburger is a Big Mac. It's not. A Big Mac is McDonald's particular brand of a double cheeseburger. But I give you his example with my 4 modes. When you're mode 4 involves being direct with women. But mode 4, as I explained in my book, is totally different than mode 1, even though the similarity is that they both involve being direct.
Being direct about what, sir? Being direct about what? Because remember, mode 1 is not about sex, right? So on one hand, mode 1 is not about sex. But then again, we're talking about a failed attempt at mode 1 because he tried to get sex with it.
Can we audibly heard now?
You said what?
Can we audibly heard now?
Wait, I couldn't hear you.
Can I be heard? Can people hear what I'm saying?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Let me get this real quick. So DY, B Lifestyle, Appreciate the 5. Mode 1 only works in a club bar setting. Otherwise, it's trash. Plus, once you hit a certain age, you want a mental connection with a female. So I'll let MOT respond to you, Alan, and then you can respond to this commenter.
Okay, so what I'm saying about the Mode 1 approach is it has to be situational and circumstantial. Like, what you don't stress is that Mode 1 cannot be done over the internet without meeting the person and having, because see, when you talk about Mode 1.
No, I have to interject here.
I'm not even done yet.
Hey, Alan, let him.
I encourage men to be Mode 1.
Brothers, hold on.
I don't encourage men to be Mode 1 through electronic communication.
Alan, please let MOT respond. You got it, bro.
Okay,
all
right.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
I understand Mode 1. I understand how it works. What people do is they write off the losses and they take on only the gains from Mode 1. I know damn well you don't promote sending text messages through Mode 1, having online communication through Mode 1. Mode 1 is something that you have to do in person, up front, with a person that is in person with you, right? So
I would also add on phone. Yeah, either face to face or over the phone, but text, email.
Hold on a second. Okay, so now he throws in this initial thing of over the phone. What is text messages being sent by folks? Over the phone. So now, Mode 1 is over the phone in electronic communication. Why? The guy probably sent this electronic communication through his phone. Yes. Mode 1 is about getting explicitly to try to figure out whether or not you can be with this person sexually or not. Because, see, he moved the standard of proof to where it's not only in person. My actual idea was it was in person. He brought up the idea that it could be done over the phone. So I'm like, if it can be done over the phone, it can be done through any type of electronic means. So I'm like, look, okay, fine. You can do Mode 1 anywhere now. And that's why the fit guy was Mode 1 when he was actually trying to get sexual cooperation out of this woman when it came to trying to have sex with her to get him on the show or whatever happened during that explanation. I'm not playing her actual version of things, by the way.
Direct message, I don't recommend Mode 1 through electronic communication at all.
Dude, if you're talking on the phone, it turns into, if you don't phone, message, like, dude, you can't move the standard of proof. Once you make it somewhere else, it's now Mode 1. It's Mode 1 everywhere now. You just can't say, oh, it's Mode 1 if it's in person, it's Mode 1 over the phone, but it's not Mode 1 over electronic communication. No, it's Mode 1 everywhere. The actual idea of Mode 1 is to gauge a woman's sexual interest as quick as possible through all of the means of communication we have today. That's all it is.
Why is that?
Because you can't, from my end as the man, I can't read anything. One thing my clients know, I'm big on reading women. See, like, the most ideal situation is face to face. When I'm talking to...
Can you read a woman over the phone? Can you read a woman through electronic communication, through email or text? Because they're both the same thing. This is why I said the standard of Mode 1 has to be in person. Because I don't want to see the text messages that you sent. I don't want to see the emails that you sent. I want to see it up front and in person. I want to see the reaction on the other person's face when you so-called so explicitly up front what the reaction is. Because you make the statement that you have a degree and a level of success based on your actual concept. So it shouldn't be hard to show off this concept to people if you've been doing it for 20 years.
To a woman face to face, I can read her body language. And see, and the reason why that's important, because you can't take a lot of things that women say on face value. For example,
make sure you're listening. Make sure you're listening. Because now we have a statement, and look how it slides into other things.
A woman could be seemingly giving you a friendly and flirtatious reaction by her words, but her body language will be saying, I ain't interested in this motherfucker. And on the flip side, a woman's words could be saying, nah, I don't do casual sex. I'm not that kind of girl. But her body language is saying, oh, yeah, I very much want to give you some pussy.
How can you be able to read this if you're doing it over the phone? Paul, thanks for the $5 super chat. I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, what's going on, man? So, if you're doing this stuff over the phone, you have no more interaction with her than you do through electronic communication. This is why Mode 1 has been extended to electronic communication. You just can't take these things off the table because you're not successful in there.
So when I'm in the company of a woman physically, not only am I just engaging in the conversation with her, but I am...
Now we're back to the physical, only in-person version of Mode 1. The phone thing is off the conversation.
Thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, reading every minuscule aspect of her body language. And then
how do you do that over the phone? How do you do that over the phone, sir?
I was going to say, to a lesser extent over the phone, you can't accomplish the same thing. But one thing I do at minimum over the phone is I can read women's what I call vocal energy. I can read women.
You can read women's vocal energy over the phone. All right. Okay.
Vocal. Matter of fact, if King Sigma and you don't mind,
we can read vocal energy over text messages and everything else.
No, you can't. No, I disagree. No, text messages, you can't read anything.
Let me explain the difference. Because you are trying to make it look like on the phone and in person is somehow viable, but not over text and email is also non-viable. So you're trying to put an actual label on things that are actually being done with people that are in person and over the phone on a level that's higher than people that actually communicate nowadays, are people who communicate through text and emails and everything else without an actual phone conversation. When you give a woman your phone number nowadays, you don't have the ability to do Mode 1 or any of this other stuff. Even though people lie like they do, that's not what's happening here. There's a difference between what you're saying.
Well, I just say for me and how I work with my clients, because I have a number of young, mainly the younger guys.
Man, we're not talking about clients. We're talking about the efficacy of the concept here, not the people who you do business with. Oh, that's not what this is about.
Special circumstances.
I'll say, Alan, every woman I run into, she just wants to communicate through text. And my simple response, I say, leave that bitch alone, because she's just looking for attention. She ain't really looking at any woman that doesn't want to talk to you.
Mode 1 does give her attention, though.
You said what?
Mode 1 does give her attention, the attention that she wants up front. I will prove it to you. Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
How on earth can you offer an individual that you do not know in a public setting sexual attention right away, and she gets the option of thumbs up and thumbs down, and that not be giving her exactly what she wants? Is a thumbs up and a thumbs down from a man right away. It gives the woman exactly what she wants. She wants the attention up front. She wants to know your actual intentions up front. Mode 1 is an actual idea of feeding women exactly what they want.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. If you believe that, you...
So, Mode 1 is not about giving women any type of attention at all. Mode 1 is about letting your intention be known by giving her attention up front. You have to make the move with mode 1 in order for this stuff to work. You have to give her attention in order to get a response from said attention. That's how that works.
You don't understand women. No, it's not. Women always want your non-sexual time, attention, and
so she don't want anything else except for that. Even though mode 1 is offering her non-sexual attention on the framework of potentially getting sexual attention from her. Non-sexual attention through verbal seduction techniques in the attempt to get sexual attention from her. There's no way that you can approach a woman without giving her a level of attention to get something back. That's the point. You're giving her everything that she wants on the platter and then claim that you're successful whether it happens or not.
Always. And see, that's where mode 1 comes in. Mode 1 is basically saying to women, if you ain't gonna give me access to your sexual attention and companionship.
Remember, mode 1 is not about sex. Remember that? Remember how mode 1 was not about sexual attention. What are we talking about right now?
I'm not going to give you access to my non-sexual attention and companionship. That's what you're basically saying to one mode 1. Women, I'm talking about this in a positive sense. Women care.
Okay, so this is what happened when ARC always loses arguments. He gets loud and he just goes into buttermilk boil over mode and just start running over the fucking conversation. And when there's no moderation, because he does this shit on every conversation. There's not a single conversation that Mr. Currie has been a part of when challenged appropriately on his ideas that he don't walk off into this boil over mode to where all of a sudden nobody can talk but him. Shit happens every time. No moderation, and they just let this shit happen.
Way more. At minimum, they care just as much. In most cases, they care way more about gaining access to your.
How the fuck does he know all this shit? How does he not know? How does he know all this? Again, it's sliding the burden of proof from him to the woman's thoughts and opinions rather than him proving his opinion.
Non-sexual attention and companionship than they do your sexual attention. Most women feel like I can get a man's sexual companionship any fucking time I want to. That's a...
When is the man who is speaking on the behalf of the man here at any point? It's not even happening.
Most women feel their challenge is I want to get your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, and or your money. Either your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship, and or your money. That's what women's angle is. And mode 1 says, I'm not going to spend no money on you. I'm not going to spend time hanging out with you at the bowling alley before I fuck you. Either we fucking or we not. Either we fucking.
Wait a minute. Mode 1 is not about sex. If mode 1 is not about sex, then how did we get here?
Give her what she wants up front.
Now, so Alan, in the situation I described to you that happened to me the other day, so one of the commenters, he says that he feels that mode 1 worked in my situation because by coming at the woman boldly in the spirit of what you're saying right now, where I told her, hey, what are you doing? If you're available right now, I want to smash. Now, I did this. I was willing to sacrifice one of the women I matched with just to see. Now, he's saying that because she unmatched and was not willing, to come through at that moment, that mode 1 worked. Do you agree or disagree with that, Alan and MOT? Did it work or did it fail?
Well, see, I always have a problem with people when they say.
See, you can't ask them a direct question because that is a direct question about mode 1 failing. King Sigma said he tried mode 1 on a person and she unmatched from him, that means mode 1 failed in that attempt. The obvious answer is yes, mode 1 failed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to him explain something that we already know that just failed.
Work. Because see, here's what I always say. Mode 1 always works. But when you get rejected.
That's what I'm saying. They just let these dudes just ramble on. He just told you he did mode 1 and the chick unmatched from him. And then he turns around and say mode 1 always works. Even though we just provided you a direct example of it not working. Unbelievable.
Mode 1 works.
Now, why didn't it work in Fresh and Fitt's case? Or
he wasn't mode 1. But it actually did. If you want to say for argument.
Wait a minute. Did it work or did it not work?
But I was about to explain before you took over the mic. I don't even consider what Myron Gaines did with Anna Quinn as mode 1. He was direct, but he wasn't mode 1 simply for starting.
He was as direct as King Sigma was with the woman that he unmatched with. It was the same tactic. Electronic communication, gauging the actual interest, wasting as less time as possible. They both did the same thing. It was mode 1. It was. But it's only mode 1 if it works. It's not mode 1 if it don't work. If it don't work, it's just being direct. But if it actually worked, then it's mode 1.
The fact that it was through electronic communication, man. That ain't mode 1.
Okay. All right.
But let's say, for argument's sake, people want to categorize them mode 1. Here's where he fucked up. Mode 1, I always say, it helps you identify one of these 5 women. It helps you identify a reciprocator.
Go ahead and please reiterate what it identifies so that way we can be able to see.
You're going to be talking, you're going to keep interrupting me, MOT.
Sir, it didn't work. That's what it is. When you talk about it works all the time, sir, mode 1 does nothing.
Mode 1 always works.
Plain.
So hold on one second. Gentlemen, hold on one second. So ARC, so you're saying that in a situation where, because about half of people under the age of 35 now, their first icebreaker with a woman is through a digital media, right? So you're saying that mode 1, you can't use mode 1 on the digital. You have to wait until, so like, let's say her and I, we're going to meet up for the first encounter in person. You're saying that mode 1 doesn't include the prologue and the first conversations online. It doesn't take effect until you actually line that woman up in person and meet in person. That's the only point where you can start mode 1. You're saying that it doesn't.
Personal over the phone. The only time I use, because people act like because of my age that I haven't been active in the 21st century. I've been using my wife as.
No, you haven't. Because we don't have videotape proof of your actual exploits. The only thing we got is stories and O'Shea Linux. That's all we got.
Years old. So obviously I know how to pull young women. People say, oh, Alan, you old. You don't know about electronic communication and technology and stuff. Yo, what do you think I've used in the 21st century with every woman I dealt with? So that's number 1.
Did he not say he used electronic communications in the 21st century and he still pulled women? No, we're not going into that. But that did happen, but we're not going into that.
I've used I only use electronic communication to set up a face-to-face meeting or to set up a day and time, ideal date and time to talk over the phone. That's the only thing I use
So you do use electronic communication and you do let your intentions known what your communication is about. So you do use mode 1 over electronic communication. The answer is yes, you do. Remember how he said vehemently before that he didn't do that? Now he admits that he is doing that. Unbelievable.
Electronic communication for is to set up a face-to-face meeting or to set up an identified ideal date and time to talk on the phone. But I don't do lengthy conversations through electronic communication.
Okay, Alan. So in the situation I'm referring to, like, so let's say you're on Tinder, okay, Cupid. Now you've had a couple exchanges with this female, because me personally, I don't believe in doing more than 5 different threads with a woman that I'm interested in. I want to get her as quickly off the app to the phone to me as possible. So you're saying you wouldn't recommend that a man use mode 1 at all during the digital engagement? He should be in mode 2 then. Digital, okay.
You want to say that? Yep.
Okay. Got you. Got it, MOT.
What I'm saying is that it doesn't always work because there's no videotape evidence or the actual track record that we actually see between these two individuals. It isn't done for every mode 1 attempt to solution, to proving. It doesn't work. It's nothing but assertion. What that dude did was misuse his power in that situation. That's not going to look well in every other situation outside that. And I need to do a separate live stream on how this stuff goes wrong. So that way I can be able to show you the law enforcement perspective of how mode 1 is actually viewed.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I know you usually only highlight super chats. But can you highlight this comment by H Real in the chat room?
Okay, so we got more.
Summed up my thoughts.
So he says Myron was indirectly tricking directly. So let me find the other one. So you said H.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to King Sigma's chat, because you need to see some of this bullshit that's being. Oh, shit! Hold on a second. Actually, forget it. No, we'll just keep playing.
Real?
Yeah, H Real. He misspelled my name, but other than that, everything he said was on point.
Okay, I see it. All right, so Alan, these guys are idiots and they haven't read your book. Mode 1 does not guarantee sex. It guarantees that your time and money will not be wasted.
Did this guy even read Mode 1? Did he even listen to the interview that he's a part of? Mode 1 is a successful completion of Mode 1 is about getting sex. Okay? That's why you're doing Mode 1. That's what it's about. It's not hard.
The number 1 objective. It's not the number 1 objective of Mode 1. It is not. I've said that like 200 million times over the last 20 years. Gang, is not the number 1. The number 1 objective of Mode 1 is for these 2 things. It's for the women who are interested in you, so you don't waste more time or money than you absolutely positively have to. And for the women who are not interested, so you can get rejected as quickly as possible.
Well, hold on. I want to do that
quickly as possible.
So fuck you, H-Rail. Calling someone fuck you. But you got it back, Alan.
What? Like, whoa. It didn't happen. So what's going on? So
Mode 1 is for you not to waste your motherfucking time. All these guys out here are
wasting your time to do what? Wasting your time to do what? Yes. When you go to an oncologist to actually see your progression of cancer, you're Mode 1 in cancer. Pretty much.
wasting fucking time and money on bitches who are never going to
turn it up a level like you.
Here we go. When he can't prove his point, he goes into buttermilk boil over mode. He starts yelling and screaming and all this kind of other shit because he can't run the conversation on a back and forth level and basis. He has to overtalk motherfuckers and shit because this shit ain't true. And what he does to bury your point is he just over talks and do all this emotional fucking diarrhea shit. So that way you can't get a point across.
Facts don't need to be yelled, bro. Like, could you just make your point without raising your voice?
These repeated discussions,
No,
man.
bro. Like, okay. All right. Well, I can give my.
See, he's tired of these repeated discussions. There wouldn't be a repeat discussion if you prove your goddamn point. What I do is make you prove your point. If you prove your point, I would stop asking for proof. That's how proof works. Proof ends all levels of question asking. You know who also goes nuclear? A bitch. Crazy.
Okay, I could give my rebuttal in a normal tone because it's true and tonality doesn't mean anything for things that are true. Here's the thing. You prove that Mode 1 is not wasting time by wasting your time up front, inviting her to the best ideal sexual experience that she actually could do. You're actually giving her everything that she wants up front and then expecting her to say a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That isn't Mode. Dude, if you're talking about it will waste less time for sex, you know what will waste less time for sex? Actually tricking and getting exactly what you want from a one-to-one basis.
What do you got to do tricking? What do you got to do?
You got to pay for it.
That's
Dude, listen,
what do you got to do?
I can show you your bank statements or
What
anybody
you
else's
gotta do to
bank
do
statements
tricking?
who do Mode 1, and I can show you exactly how much you spend on sex. When it comes to your clothes, the actual car you drive, the actual place that you live in town, everything else. You guys actually try to make it look like you're just walking there with genetic pre-qualification and you're getting what you want to. But I can look at your bank statements and I can tell you exactly how much money you spend on sex. Any man, I can tell them.
No, you can't.
Any man, outside of gym membership,
Let me ask you this, bro. Let me ask you. You got to silence him. Kingston, I want to ask you a question.
Wow.
Okay, let me get this.
I agree.
You interrupted me, but okay.
Kingston, but I asked you directly when you invited me to this. See, what's going on right now is what I did not want to do.
You don't want to do.
Man, fuck you. Listen, man, fuck you. Prove your goddamn point. You want to come on, you want to have these special fucking circumstances where you don't get questioned, which is the only reason why you come on. Fuck you. You have to come out here and prove your goddamn point. Prove your point. The fuck is this? These special fucking circumstances. This is how he got away with this shit for 20 fucking years. By people getting them on, getting the numbers, but not asking specific questions about shit. On a live stream called The Conspiracy to Destroy the Manosphere by Any Fucking Means, with a book author coming on here selling bullshit, enticing dudes to be bitch ass niggas and lying on their fucking dick and lying about the actual success rate with fucking women. And if you fucking challenge these people, they show no fucking proof. Where's the proof that it works?
Back and forth to question you on all your nonsense.
Let him
My nonsense? Shut the fuck up, you bitch ass nigga. My nonsense with your stupid nonsense. You encouraging people to trick and involving solicitation of prostitution.
Let me tell you why I do encourage people to do that. You break the woman's power in society. You bring the level of sexual attention to actual zero. You want to know what it is? You make sex normal. During this system, you make sex more, even more fucking powerful by doing shit in an ineffective means. If your idea is to consume as much sex as possible, yes, you should go out and fucking pay for it. 1-to-1 level. I don't want you wasting time. I want you to be rewarded on a 1-to-1 level and basis. This is what breaks the power of sex within society itself. You see, these guys don't want you actually engaging in sexual activity. They want you to do it the hardest way possible, so that way you can waste a whole bunch of time. All this shit is about wasting time. If I want to eat a fucking chicken sandwich, you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not going over to a goddamn farm, chasing down a fucking chicken, plucking the fucking feathers, breaking the goddamn neck, removing the blood, fucking like doing all this shit. If I want a chicken fucking sandwich, I'm gonna go pay for a chicken fucking sandwich. I'm not gonna go through all this shit. If I want something, I'm gonna go fucking get it. I'm not gonna go get it through the level of means that's gonna be good for her. I'm gonna go get it from the level that's gonna be good for me. And here's the thing. You know what's also illegal? Walking up to a woman that you don't know, telling her about your sexual interest in her. And if she don't fucking like you, she can ruin your fucking life. Yes. You bitch ass niggas gotta stop wasting all this fucking time giving a fuck about what women fucking think. You get your fucking shit together, you ain't gotta worry about women who fucking do this type of shit.
You bitch ass nigga.
I am here to break women's power in society, sir. You're here to give them more power than anything else in the world. I'm telling them Mo one.
Because you a bitch.
Oh, God. Are we going to do this again, ARC? Down again, sir? Oh, my God. I want to protect your bubble back. It's not like nonsense.
Bullshit.
So I want to get this panel back. You know, we were doing good. So, you know, brother.
Okay, so who threw the panel off? Me or him? I'm asking for proof. He asking me to shut the fuck up and let him run his bullshit on people. We have two different, very different things that we're trying to do here. On a stream called The Conspiracy to Destroy the Manosphere by Any Means. Old whack-ass motherfuckers like this is what destroyed the goddamn Manosphere. Dating coaches, relationship motherfuckers, that shit ain't got nothing to do with getting your shit together as a man. It's about giving your shit away once you get your shit together as a fucking man. By giving you ineffective means, by going right back into a situation that you ain't supposed to be taking your dumb ass into. This isn't hard.
I got a little bit heated, but hey, fellas, come on. We got good information to be shared. So, MOT, let ARC ask his question. I'll answer it, then I'll give the mic back. You got it?
Man, I'm gonna just lay it out, man.
Go ahead.
I didn't come on here to defend my Mo one approach. God damn it, I've been in business for.
Why not? You're using Mode 1 all over the fucking panel without any kind of goddamn proof. I can't ask for proof. So you want to talk about Mode 1, but you don't want to be challenged on the efficacies of Mode 1.
Over 20 years. Ain't nobody faded me yet. If somebody can prove otherwise, I'll send them $1,000 today.
You got $1,000 really?
This is his $1,000 bet. That I'm disproving his $1,000 bet the entire discussion I'm on. It's the fact that he don't have proof. So now he sets up this $1,000 bet where apparently nobody fucking can fade him on this Mode 1 approach, except for when you ask for direct proof.
20 plus years. Ain't nobody faded me yet. So shut the fuck up with all these challenges about my Mode 1 approach.
I want to answer his $1,000 bet.
You're right, wrong,
MOT, let him ask me the question, then I'm going to give you the mic, bro. Now, ARC, what was your question directly for me before you interrupt?
No, I just said to you, man, I predicted this shit was going to happen. Man, I didn't come here
a simple
basically get
solution
into
where
it.
you don't challenge.
I'm tired of that conversation, man. I'm tired of that fucking conversation.
Okay, he's tired of the conversation about providing proof of Mode 1. He's tired of the conversation about providing proof about Mode 1. He's tired of the conversation about providing proof about Mode 1. He doesn't like being asked about proof about Mode 1. Whose fucking fault is that? That's not my fault.
People promoting prostitution and that type of shit in the manosphere. That's what I came up here to talk about. I ain't come up here to talk about is Mo one effective, is it not effective? I don't think Mo one's effective. Nigga, I've had like 2,000 of them conversations over the last 5 years. I'm tired of it. That's why I sound so loud and angry. Because I'm so tired of that goddamn conversation.
Asking for proof makes you mad.
Goddamn conversation. My books are the best-selling books out there in the manosphere. And I tell anybody otherwise.
Let me pose this question to you then, MOT. So, do you agree with Allen when he says that these guys are foolish for possibly violating the SESTA and Mann Act by promoting prostitution in these black male spaces or not? Do you agree or disagree?
No. It's no more of a like what people don't understand is Roger Currie is an agent of feminism. What he does is he gives women free attention by having you offer it on the platter up front than a woman actually figuring out what your intentions are behind the scenes. Like, this is what Roger Currie don't understand about his mode one approach. This is why it's not on camera. If it was on camera, you would be able to see this guy get rejected and turned down every single time. If it was an actual discipline like Taekwondo or Wing Chun or any other karate discipline, it would be able to be experienced every year. All it does, it gets men who are raised by women who are actually enticed by women's opinion to come and make unsubstantiated claims by a guy who is well past his prime. In the prime to which he was doing this mode one approach, we would be able to see a mode one
right
approach
now.
Me too.
Are you a heterosexual?
Post me too. I want to see it. I want to see it on.
Are you a heterosexual?
I'm a. Well, what is going on?
Are you a heterosexual?
All of a sudden, I'm gay now.
Yes, you are. You sounded like a homosexual.
I am gay because you're asking for proof. I'm gay because I asked for
video proof. You a heterosexual?
Oh my God!
Video interacting with no women.
I'm asking for proof.
I never seen your video interacting with no women.
You guys haven't been out here for 20 years. You should be able to come out here and prove your point. You should be able to come out on your camera. Dude, listen. I would invite you to Highlands Ranch. I would invite you to Green Valley Ranch. I would invite you to Castle Rock, Colorado. I would invite you to
actual. That you're homosexual.
Wow, I'm a homosexual because I asked for proof of concept.
Where's your video one?
Is that what that is, sir? Dude, listen, that works on dudes in the 90s. This is the 21st century,
you
sir.
Sound like a homosexual.
Nobody actually believes in that shit.
You sound like a homosexual.
Oh my God, I'm gay because I asked for your old ass to prove your mode one approach. You give women exactly what they want to. What,
you
Mr.
sound like a gay
ARC?
motherfucker, man.
Get out of here, bro.
Like a gay motherfucker.
Oh, dude.
Ain't nothing
bitch ass niggas to come out here and prove your concept. You haven't even proved your concept yet.
You sound like
you haven't proved your concept.
Do you even like pussy?
You haven't proved your concept.
Yes or no? Do you like pussy? That's a straightforward question. Do you like pussy?
I do, but I don't want it from uncultured women. No, sir. No, sir.
How do you go about getting pussy?
I like it from one specific woman that I could actually have some level of discipline over, so that way she's going to fuck me over because of my level of pussy, sir.
Let me get this super chat. Let me get this super chat real quick, bro. Doug, appreciate the 10. Using mode one doesn't mean guaranteed sex. It's putting your intentions on the table. Sex, long-term relationship, or casual. Either the woman accepts or not accepts the term. It's not that complicated. So let me get the other one. Let me get this other brother real quick.
This is why you give a woman what she wants on a platter up front in front of her. It's not
okay. Hold on, MOT. Useless, familiar. 5. ARC is the Hemingway of our generation. You got it.
What I'm saying is ARC is offering feminists exactly what they want on a platter. Your intentions. You know what women don't offer on a platter? Their intentions. So what ARC is doing is allowing you to bring all of your intentions up front while she gets to hide behind lap bands, makeup, body shapers and all this other shit. But you have to play the game up front because you're just an honest man who gonna do everything that you want because you got genetically qualified and you're gonna get exactly what you want from women. It's crazy. It's giving the women exactly what they want. This dude is a tool for feminism. That's what woman is. A tool from feminism.
And your tool for homosexuality.
That's what it is, sir. That's what it is.
Your tool for homosexuality.
So
I'm
ARC.
not that, sir. I don't know why you keep bringing up that I'm a tool for
I
don't know why you keep doing
not for the personal attacks, but I want to ask ARC something. So, in that situation with the cat from Fresh and Fit, you said that in no way was he Mode 1. And with all these women coming out now, because based on the evidence I've seen from this guy, Danny Media, I guess there's like several women coming out and they're claiming they're going to get lawyers involved. And one of the things I talked about on Game Changers panel the other day, because we were debating on, should you shit where you eat? And I've always been a believer because the situation happened to me where I could have got myself in trouble with a female I was working with. And it's better not to do it in this day and age, and it's better just to know, hey, there's certain spaces for your leisure activities, but work is very risky for a black man because especially with corporate America, academia, and government jobs, we're the last ones hired, first one fired in this climate. We're not an in-demand group, even within this woke culture of, we want diversity. The black male is last in that diversity list if he gets chosen. So my thought is that you shouldn't try to fuck guests on your panel because why risk losing the money, losing the subscribers, when you can take the money that you get off these IG thoughts and go find you an even better version of her somewhere else outside of your business. Because again, here's another risk that was taken by that guy. When you're a 1099 worker and you get a sexual harassment civil suit against you, your channel is going to get deleted by YouTube if it gets up to them. Why? Because you make them liable. They don't chase the small bag. When they go off to hire a lawyer, and remember, we have the highest rate of unemployed lawyers ever, the highest rate of people that graduate from law school but not actually be practicing law. What's to say that if... Boom.
This is why you got lead attorneys and dancing fucking rappers in the goddamn Manosphere, because none of these motherfuckers can go into a goddamn courtroom right now. It's true. A lot of these lawyers are out of business. A lot of them.
This gets to like 4, 5, 7 women that they won't get one of these unemployed lawyers and say, hey, this happened to me. And now they got all this video virtual evidence, all this DM evidence, and they go to Google and they say, here's your 1099 employer. We want the bag. So I'm just wondering what you think. Do you think that's a potential consequence of his actions? And should he have just said, hey, I'm not going to shit where I eat and left it at that and then say, hey, I'll go out to Miami Beach the next day and go knock all the dimes on the beach using Mode 1 strategy?
Well, you could criticize the fact that he tried to...
Okay. King Sigma made a very good point. If the fresh dude can get all the women that he claims that he can get, why is he trying to get more pussy over the fucking internet? If you have access to all these women, not on the internet, in person in Miami, why would he even need to be trying to get women over the goddamn internet like that? But I digress. Let's keep going.
Mix in a desire to have sex with this woman and a queen, and I assume other women with a desire to collaborate on their business. Is that something I would encourage, endorse, or condone? No. But in his partial defense, there's businessmen realistically who do that all the time. I know well enough, man. There's businessmen in this country and all around the world who do that type of shit all the time. So to me, that wasn't his major problem. Here's where his major problem went in. Is he told her, which I'll give him credit for, under the category being direct, according at least to the print screen DMs I saw. Now, I'm assuming they're legit. They haven't been manipulated or Photoshop modified or anything. I'm assuming that what I saw on the print screens by Anna Quinn was legit. Here is where Myron went wrong. He said, I'm going to let you know up front that I don't want to have a series of interactions with you that are of a purely platonic nature.
I'm gonna stop it right there. Did he not just explain what the fuck Mode 1 was in that interaction that he made with Anna Quinn? He said exactly what his intentions were. His exact intentions were to not have platonic relationships, to get down to sex very quickly, to get on his show. That is Mode 1. He was very Mode 1 with her. And this is why I say when Mode 1 fails, there will be tons of proof of it failing. Because not everybody's going. So when you say dumb shit like it works every single time, you out of your damn mind. It didn't work in that case. It didn't work in King Sigma's case when the woman actually what did she say? Matched him. Two instances where it didn't work. But he keeps saying that it works all the time.
And again, I'll give him some kudos for that. He's laid out up front what type of interactions they want to have. Let me finish. I'm talking. What is that?
The problem is that he don't want to answer whether what he did was Mode 1. He wants to turn around and just try to talk his way over every single point. And what he does is when he goes on these panels, he can't stand any type of criticism. This is why you got to have these special ass circumstances whenever he goes on people's panels, because he don't like being criticized on this bullshit, because it don't make no damn sense.
You need to be able to answer the question. Was Fitz actual promotion of Mode 1 the way he employed it, some way that you would actually employ it yourself? Yes or
no? Okay. I already explained that.
Hey, actually, why would he
do it through a direct message? I would never be Mode 1 with a woman through a direct message.
But he just said that he was direct with people about his intentions when setting up meetings and other things. The Fit guy was very upfront about his how he wanted to deal with this person. Very upfront. Very upfront. But it's only Mode 1 if it succeeds, and not Mode 1 if it fails.
Ever.
But you don't mind fucking women that you that are your employees?
Yeah. I didn't necessarily say that.
No,
I other men do that all the time.
No. I didn't say you should. I'm asking you what your thought is as far as a rule. Like I'm saying, as a rule, what do you think of that? Because I just believe that in this climate that we're in, bro, and seeing how it's so easy to take a brother down, that it's better just to separate the two, man. That's my belief.
Well, if you want me full disclosure, yes, I have had sex with a woman that I had also a business relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so was it in this current climate though, or was it prior to this Me Too stuff?
It was prior to the Me Too stuff.
So what would you recommend for younger men? You know, we're talking, that in their prime.
Too risky because of what you just said, the Me Too movement. Too risky. My frat brother, who I know personally, Tavis Smiley, he got caught up in that, and we all know what happened with him. He tried to mix business and pleasure with his company, and look what he did to his career. So no, in a Me Too environment, I would not recommend trying to sleep with. I've done like 3 videos on my channel about that. Don't get laid where you get paid. Don't try to have sex with people who are business colleagues, co-workers, subordinates. Don't do that. It's just not. Yeah, there's a 95 to 99% chance you're gonna reach.
See, here's the thing. With that method that he just said, that applies to all women across the board. No, you shouldn't be trying to get with these people that work and all that. I agree with that. But the actual levels of danger are across the board, regardless of what situation that you're into, whether it's work related or not. This is why this actual method needs to be looked at a lot closer. Because I don't think that you wouldn't do this in a work environment, which makes sense. But I don't think that you would just walk into a club setting or anywhere else and do this Mode 1 approach shit either. It's almost like men want to be weak, and they want her to have the best deal possible. That's what it's like saying. Because nobody's talking about what the man wants here. No one talks about that. They don't even care. It's not even part of the conversation.
Regret it.
Yeah, but I left at that point because I got what I wanted. I don't understand, man. This is what's going on here. You ask for proof, and this is what happens. Now, all the other modes make sense from one degree to another. But the only thing it does is it promises women attention and your intentions up front. As you can see, he wanted to throw chairs the moment that you ask him about actual verification of proof of concept. You shouldn't be needing to do any of that stuff if it actually works, if it was actually true. Remember, let's go out and check for you. The actual name of the live stream was about agents came to destroy the Manosphere. All these older dudes pushing these Bravo Alpha November fan fictions is exactly what broke and destroyed the Manosphere. Because when you don't have centralized leadership, everybody is going to try to come and make money off of our problems within this space. And it did start with the dating coaches, which is a natural response to not having men in the actual household with women. So the fake solutions were offered to give you temporary sexual access while making sure that you'll never be productive in the future, because the only thing you want to be verified off of is sexual access. Because remember, most of these people who defend this concept, they have seen no more proof than I had. But they're willing to believe anything. But let's see what's going on here. I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who can prove it. I would like Doug to come up here and actually prove his point. Yeah, the way I operate is for maximum control for me. I don't give a fuck about her and her side of things. So, O'Shea Linux or anybody else who want to defend this concept, come on up and prove it. Come on up and prove it. Have the direct conversation that your master won't have when it comes to mode 1. There's no proof. But since the standard of masculinity is still receiving sex within this environment where you should be focusing on your goddamn money, this is what creates fan fiction like this. An actual social thing like mode 1 has to be proven. Double-blind test studied environment by psychologists and other medical professionals. So that way they can see the viability of such concept. You just can't come up with a concept and depend on the gullibility of men to actually prove your concept, sliding the burden of proof from yourself to somebody else. All right, O'Shea.
All right, good evening. This is O'Shea. O'Shea, how are you? MOT.
What's wrong, sir? It's been a while. What's going on, man?
Look here. Mode 1 does work. See, okay. If you try, hold up. If you trying to get a, if you trying to get, give me a second. If you trying to get a guarantee of sex, then look, there's nothing works all the time. Not even tricking, because some women won't even accept your money. Period. So, so that kills the whole concept of looking for something to get you 100% sex all the time, because it just doesn't happen.
Okay, so, but ARC said that mode 1 does work all the time. He did say that.
It does. Look.
Wait a minute. You just said nothing works all the time. And then, come on, man.
It works all the time because it will save you time. That's what you're trying to quit. You're trying to stop from being taken advantage of. And one of the quickest ways to stop being taken advantage of is to be straight up with a person. That way, either they do or they don't. That's it.
So what you're saying is that Mo One is not about sex. That's what you're saying.
See, now you're trying to change the what's the name?
No, I'm not trying to change it. It's
Yes,
a
you are.
simple question.
Yes, you are. You're trying to change the what's. Now I tell you what Mode 1 is about. Mode 1 is about stop wasting your time.
By offering your time up front to a woman to get her intentions up front, right?
Offering what time up front? See, you're trying to change it. You
no, I'm not trying to change it. I'm telling you exactly what you're doing. Okay. Just listen to me for a second. O'Shea. All right.
I'm listening.
Okay. So, in order not to waste your time with a woman, you walk up to a woman and waste your time with her up front. Right?
No.
What?
Now, if you use the Mode 1, you're not. Now, if you sitting out there, call yourself trying to spit game and sit there and not be straight up and straightforward, yeah, you're going to be wasting a bunch of time. And oftentimes you're going to mess around and you're going to leave disappointed because, see, you're going to look at, she can always use the fact that, well, you didn't tell me what you really want. So they always would use that when you're not straight up telling them what you want.
Okay, so you do realize that you're letting her know your intentions up front.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're correct about the tricking thing, by the way. This is why I say get your money together and deal with different cultures of people so that way there's a cultural exchange. That's the way I do it. So that way, because I'm attracted to conservative women, I'm not attracted to any of this other stuff. It's not because I can't get it. If I get rid of all of my standards, I can get whatever I want to. But the whole point is for me not to be on the dating market forever for sex. My actual idea is to actually make sure that I'm consuming the right things properly.
Well, you just said something that I disagree with.
Okay,
you said if you get rid of all your standards, and correct me if I'm wrong, you said you can get what you want.
Yeah, no. I can consume as much as things in this environment that I want. Because most dudes just want to get laid. Let's be honest about it.
Okay, but see, I'm sorry.
Wait. You're changing what I'm saying. Let me give you additional context to what I'm saying, and then you can respond to what I said with the context.
Give me 1 second. Keep going. All right, keep going.
So if I got rid of all of my standards for women, which means start dealing with more liberal, more loose women, more women who require all this game and convincing and all that kind of shit. So if I gave up all of my standards that I have right now and start doing business the way most dudes operate within this work environment, I can get a hell of a lot more sex per se. But I don't want that. I want what I got. I want what I went after.
But see, you took a word out of it. I hear what you're saying, but you took a word out of it. You took what you want. Let me tell you what. The looser your standards, the less of a chance you're gonna get what you actually want. You might get a whole bunch. You may get a whole bunch of sex, but very rarely is it gonna be with some of the women you want. Because all the time when you have no borders around yourself, you get what you can get.
I know. That's what happens when you get rid of all of your standards in this environment. You're going to get a whole lot of what you don't want. Why? Because you turn yourself into a sexual parasite at that point. That's the point of getting rid of all your standards. Like, that's the whole point of game dudes online telling you about their success rates and model. Because, especially during women obtainment hours, they're online telling you about how much sex they get with women, talking to other dudes who are also not with women. Like, the women don't need them to promote their product of sex. They don't need that. But you have all these people who speak for the woman's point of view. They're claiming the women are not claiming them. Don't you find that kind of odd? All right, No, we'll wait till O'Shea Lens come up. But this is what this is about, man. It's about the Manosphere was not supposed to be a clearinghouse for dudes trying to introduce dudes back into uncultured women. That's not what the Manosphere was about. The actual live stream was about that. But if you look at all the people in the chat, they made it look like I was disrupting the conversation because I wanted proof of Mode 1. But they required no proof of Alan Roger Currie just talking about Mode 1. That's the problem here. But this is where we at, folks. Like I said, there has to be more people who can defend this concept. Doug, where you at, man? Come on up.
All right, I'm back. Somebody came to my house.
Right,
I was kind of listening to what you were saying while I was talking to them. And I'm not going to stay up here long, but look, the Mode 1 thing works as in it saves you time. But now if you're looking for certain guaranteed experiences every time, you're going to lose. Look, you're going to lose because no such thing as a guaranteed all the time.
Okay, let's pause it right there. You just said two different things again. You say that it works all the time, and then you say there's no guarantee all the time. That's what you just said.
It works all the time if you don't want to waste time.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, let's take all the time out of there. Let's look, I go as far as to say 95% of the time, it works in saving you time.
How?
Because because when you approach the female, now when you approach the woman, and within the first 10, 15 minutes of the conversation, if that long, you let her know what you approached her for. Either you want to get to know her better, or either you into some more casual, sinful sex, or some whatever it is that you want from her. But beyond that, now look, just because you let her know what you want, don't mean she gonna want it from you.
Okay.
I mean that's just the bottom line with it.
Fair enough.
All right, look, I appreciate you letting me up here on your panel, but man, I'm finna eat and go screaming on live somewhere else. All right.
All right, O'Shea Lyons, man. You have a nice one, man.
You too.
All right. So that's the thing, man. Okay, so the actual point here is the actual point at the bottom. I was waiting on somebody to actually say that. It works all the time if you don't want to waste time. Because when you hear actual Alan Roger Currie speaks, he speaks vehemently about how he gets sex out of this arrangement. And that is a horrible way to consume music through 8 tracks. Horrific way. I think all right, let's move on to something. But yeah, I'm just saying, it takes a degree of gullibility to believe in this concept. Now, the other concepts, probably the 1.5, the 2, that's probably more realistic. But the actual name of the book itself, Mode 1, the way that it's been described, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So you guys have got to understand. There's nothing wrong with asking for proof. There's nothing wrong with asking for proof. You got to make sure stuff works. And when people, you got to run into this if you're in business a lot. A lot of people are going to want to overpromise and underdeliver. I'm just saying, I want for this stuff to work. Now, the rest of the modes are plausible, but still have not been tried. But I can see how they can work. But it's the actual number 1 mode that actually needs the most proof. because it's the actual thing that the actual crux of the other things are based on. So you just can't turn around and make more plausible things true and then come up with a big fat stinking lie on top of it and call it mode one. I understand that you don't want to be able to prove your concept. But if somebody asks you for proof, you're going to have to prove your point. And I'm saying, I have not seen any proof. You're welcome to show proof whenever you want to. But as of right now, it's not proof. So, you drop the link again because there's a lot of people who believe in this concept. I don't mind you believing in the concept, but I want you to actually prove it to me that it works. That's it. There's nothing wrong with concepts when you come up with it. I just want the concept to be proven because these things grow legs and you never be able to find out the validity of the concept itself. That's why there's peer-reviewed things. This is why you just can't come up with your own standard. It still has to be tested some way. So that's all I got on this. And there will not be another stream about Mode 1. So you have to understand that my commentary here is to prove to people. Cedric Webb, thanks for the $5. I think that's a super chat or a super sticker or something. Thanks for that. So you guys have to understand this. Make sure if somebody comes up with a concept that you have them prove it. There's nothing wrong with proving your actual point, the concept. Nothing wrong with it at all. So when people want to move the actual standard of proof from the person who created it to the people who believe in it, that's probably an actual idea that concept is probably, if not true. If you depend on the gullibility of others to actually have your concept go forward, then it's quite the likelihood that your concept is not true. And then you turn into a social predator of sorts, preying on people's ability to lie about a concept that they know is not true, actually helping you get away with perpetuating this nonsense onto the public. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I want to thank the people who support the program. Make sure you like the video among going out. Make sure that you actually forward this video to any person who actually believes vehemently in Mode 1 and you actually use some of these arguments that I have used within this actual live stream itself, so that way we can break down nonsense. Mode 1 is nothing but giving women exactly what they want to on a platter while claiming that you're actually winning when you have no proof of either. So with that said, on the Man Tomorrow, I want to thank you guys for coming through on this Sunday night. You guys have a really nice night. Peace.